Here's your T-handle.
We want a good T-handle.
So we've got this little, well, we had this scrap 90. We bent it, I don't know how much. More than a 90, as much as my
111.
111. We're gonna cap off the tubing here to make it look nice and weld that in, and that'll give our torque converter. It don't even look bad. I ain't mad at it.
I ain't mad.
We haven't showed this Maxim cart in a pretty good while because we couldn't find out why it wouldn't make any power. It basically, like, if you go on this trail, you cannot pull up either side of the hill with my weight in it. And it's a 24 horse V-twin with Go Power Sports 780 torque converter. Well, I thought it might have been I got a faulty torque converter because the V-twin should have enough power. But it turns out the 780 is perfectly fine, that these V-twins from Leaf-In are garbage water. Basically, they got a single barrel carb feeding both cylinders, and on the dyno it hits 24 horse at like 2500 RPM, and then by the time you get to 3600 RPM you're making like 17 horse. So the engine basically doesn't make enough power to engage that torque converter all the way. So we're going to fix that today. The boys at Performance 670 sent us a carb bracket, like a Mikuni adapter, and a Honda GX 660 intake manifold, so we can put, it'll basically feed both ports, and it's made for a dual barrel carb. We're going to be running Mikuni, and we're going to cut that thin engine plate off. Go Power Sports sent us a new 1/4 inch thick engine plate, and we got to move these shocks. The rear shocks are really stiff on it, but this thing's been covered up out here, getting rained on, whatnot, so it's finally time to get this thing revived and take it out to the property. So it takes off with a ton of power, but then that, as soon as you get up in the RPMs, it just falls lower and lower. Yeah, it just gets poopy. Don't know how many people remember this thing, but you see how we did the frame because it was hitting the torque converter. This is a old used pulley that we had for the deuce. It had some chips in the back. You can kind of see right in that area there's chips, and we was testing to see if it was a torque converter, so we swapped that one on and it still did the same thing. And the exhaust, from where we never braced it, cracked right there. We should have braced it to those head mounts. We will be doing that this time, fixing up the exhaust. So we got to pull this engine. So there's that little baby carb. So that's feeding this whole V-twin. That's the biggest problem. Like that's a huge restriction on this engine. So it's nice to have that son of a gun off, and it's going to clean the engine up a lot and not make it as tall. Well, it probably will be, but after the Mikuni's on it. So you can see the stock setup and the new setup. This one's got a dual barrel flange, and then the Performance 670 makes this billet Mikuni adapter. So that's the difference. Look at that. That's gonna flow like a son of a gun. So Daniel's jacking her up, and we got that engine plate welded on. We had to extend the bolt holes that we're using for this block because of the way I built the swing arm. The engine needed to be a little further forward. So now we're going to cut. These are Go Power Sport 150 shocks. Once we get the shocks dialed in, we can slap the engine back on it. Like I said, we just slapped that Mikuni on it, and then this thing's ready to go. I fixed a crack in the exhaust because I grinded one of the welds on the exhaust, and I basically grinded too much and it cracked. But we'll be able to slap that exhaust back on it. It sounds awesome. We just want it to perform awesome. So we apologize, but we got a little antsy. We got the carb slapped on. We had to jet it up to a 1.7 millimeter jet size. My jet drill bits are in millimeters. So at first we drilled it up 2 more sizes. I think it was around 1.3. We jetted it up to a 1.5 millimeter jet size. It's still like if you push the throttle all the way to the floor, it just like die if you didn't let up off of it. So we drilled it up again to 1.7. It probably needs a 1.8. I would say it still does it if you just go full throttle, but if you just, you know, go a quarter throttle, we just haven't fully adjusted the carb on it. But we had to use the old Kawasaki Mule torque converter front pulley because the Go Power Sports pulleys, those Comets, have the key built in the pulley. Well, if you guys remember, this stupid leaf engine has a metric key size, so it's way too floppy. We had to get a custom key. My brother made me a custom key that fit the crankshaft and then tapered, like was notched for a standard like 1/4 inch key. But again, the problem was a 780 uses a you put your own key in the front pulley. A 40 series has it built in the front pulley. I know this is a long story, but the Kawasaki Mule 40 series pulley had a key you put in yourself, so I was able to use it. But we had to take it to a machine shop that had a bigger bandsaw and cut this back casting off the pulley, and it worked great. Then we drove it, bled the brakes, everything. We was having fun jumping the driveway. We haven't jumped the driveway probably 6-7 months, and Daniel broke it. Sheared the key on the sprocket, jumped it, stayed the throttle a little bit. When it hit, it just
it was worth it.
Oh yeah. And of course we wasn't filming, so now we're knocking the old broken key out. We're gonna put a new key in it. If it breaks again, we're welding the sprocket to the axle. I just want this thing done so we can ride it, and I ain't messing around no more. So we'll get this thing knocked out and hopefully be able to throw a GoPro on and rip on it. She's fun, really fun. So yeah, he sheared the key off. You can see the keyway's not lined up at all on it, which worries me. You know, it means we could shear another one. If it sheared one, it'll shear another one. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, probably not. It used to have these casted on ears. Actually on screen now is a Kawasaki Mule pulley. There's the casted on ears on the back. We basically had to cut those flush so the pulley looked like that right there. Yeah, we got everything hooked up. There's that flat slide 32 millimeter Mikuni. We got everything ran good. She's a hoot and a half. So Daniel's got the sprocket all cleaned up. We're just going to put a Fat Daddy bead all the way around the whole thing. She won't ever come off again, I guarantee that. So yeah, we haven't got the heel graded yet. That's coming soon though. Yeah, this will be the way we normally go down this track. She's coming alive though. We are going to go back with the 780 torque converter. I just need to tweak a few things to get it to fit. This engine's, like I said, like a mud engine. Well guys, the Maxim is finally worth a flip. Before, I'm telling you, that thing was the most aggravating cart we ever had because we could not figure out. I mean, we thought the 780 had a problem and we wanted to figure it out, and it didn't seem like it was a 780. And luckily, we was talking to Performance 670. They told us that they dynoed those engines. They was going to make a full line of parts for those engines, but they had so many just issues with them that they said they're not worth it. And I was really close to selling this V-twin for like 200 bucks just to get rid of it, let someone use it on like a log splitter or something. But she runs good. It does slip the belt a little bit because of that Kawasaki mule pulley. The inner bore of the torque converter, the inner like shaft, is smaller than a Go Power Sports like Comet style pulley, so the belt has more slop in it. So we are going to get something figured out with that keyway, because it's like, I can't remember what it measured out, but it's a metric keyway on that engine, which was stupid of Leafan, because it's sold in America. Sell it with American keyways. But yeah, let us know what you think about this cart. It's super fun. Lonnie said he loves it. Lonnie's been having a blast on the trails. And let us know what you think about the trails too. They look, or they are freaking sick, and you haven't even seen half of them. We have like all kinds of cut through trails and stuff. So it's going to be real interesting when we start like playing tag basically through there, following the leader and stuff. It's going to be really fun because there's all types of turns you can take and go on a different type of trail. So really pumped about it. And make sure to check out all the links in the video description. All the parts from Go Power Sports, their 780 kit and their 40 series. Like I said, the only reason we didn't go back with the 780 on this is for one, that engine don't really make enough power. It'd be really, I mean, we ripped on it with a 40 and it didn't even hurt the belt any. So I think it would have been a waste of a 780, and we do have another 670 coming on the channel going on a cart. So but make sure to check out those links. They do help us continue to do these videos. The Performance 670 parts are down there, the parts on this cart from Go Power Sports, and help support our channel. And thank you guys for watching. We love you, and God bless.